On this episode of Tiger TV, we're at Rawlings HQ and we're talking bats. Hi everybody, welcome back to another edition of Tiger TV. I'm your host, Spiker Helms. I'm here again at Rawlings HQ and we're going to talk about bats. I have Kyle Murphy, played at the University of Kansas and actually was a junior college guy at Indian Hills. We were sharing some stories back and forth off camera. And so let's head straight into it. You got 3 bats right here, and these are 2017 models?
Correct.
Okay, so let's go through each model and kind of talk about each one. And this is what is the difference right here, is the yellow bat. Talk about this bat. What's the difference from going this year from the 2016?
So really we have 3 platforms of technology when it comes to bats. We have our Quatro, which is 100% composite.
Yeah.
We have our Velo, which is aluminum with a composite end cap. And then you have your tried and true 5150, which is 100%
Yeah, this is the
aluminum.
original BBCORE that you guys came out with, yeah.
It is, absolutely. And so, to your point, Quatro is brand new of a technology to us. And so, really, it boils down to the Quatro goes from BBCORE, which is your high school age player, to your youth, which is, obviously the senior league big barrel type play.
Yep.
So, from a technology standpoint, very simply put, you're talking about a full composite design.
There a little bit more.
Sure. And in this collar range is what translates down and cascades to the big barrel, and that is a collar that essentially encompasses the handle, but it does a couple things. One is it reduces vibration and sting. Right? No one likes to feel.
So it's a softer feel.
It's a softer feel. No one likes to feel the sting or vibration when they hit it off the end or hit it off the handle. 2 is it also acts as a form of flex, and so. We talk about handle flex and we talk about collar flex, and this has collar flex, and the difference there is your handle is going to get very whippy, right? You're going to feel like, say, a pool noodle, and you grab it at the very end, and it's going to be all over the place. This is going to be more, consistent flex in the handle region, in which it's going to be less, but it's going to be noticeable.
Okay.
You're going to be able to catch up to faster swing speeds, or pitch speeds rather. So that's a key. Portion of the bat. The other piece that goes into it then, of course, is our barrel technology.
Yeah.
And as you flip it over, we have an inner barrel inside.
Oh yeah, there's actually like a piece. There's actually a piece in here. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but the piece is there's another little piece that's inside that. So yeah. So then, what does that piece do?
So really, it just allows us to get around the BBCORE standard. Simply put, we're able to create a very flexible outer wall, and then when it comes to actually passing the BBCORE test, we have to do something to allow it to pass. And so we actually add this inner barrel. So as the bat compresses, it will stop when it needs to pass the BBCORE testing.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So in the end, the player gets a more flexible outer barrel than any other bat in the market.
Yep.
Until it gets to a point when you're having to hit the BBCORE standard, which really you're talking about test speeds that are, say a 90 mile an hour pitch speed and a 60 mile an hour swing speed. So you're never really going to, as a youth player or a high school player, you're really not going to hit those levels until you get to the college level. So huge advantage for the player to go into a Quatro.
Now, this flexes. Now, do these other bats flex as well, or is it different?
Yep.
So this one's the Velo. I mean,
it is. So it's a completely different design. You're talking about a straight aluminum shell all the way up until the end of the bat. Velo is all about velocity. It's all about swing speed. So we do everything from a swing weight standpoint to make it as light and as easy for the player to get through the zone.
So if you want to have a faster bat speed, this is the bat that needs.
Absolutely.
This is the bat that they want to get.
It's absolutely. And so, in really just boiling it down is if you're struggling catching up to pitches, if you're fouling pitches off of ton, if you're striking out. You got to find a way to increase your bat speed.
But this won't jump you like 10 miles an hour, will it?
No, but
I mean, it makes it easier for the player to handle a little bit.
It does.
Okay.
It absolutely makes it easier to handle. And so, obviously, with your Quatro, you're talking about a bigger barrel. This is going to be a thinner barrel, but it's going to be more built for speed.
Okay, gotcha. And then what the original one that I played with,
Yep.
the 5150. This is the original BBCORE, correct? And
Yep.
so what's the difference between this one and the Velo and the Quatro?
Yeah, so the 5150, as you can see from our technology window, is full aluminum all the way up to the end of the bat. So it's going to be very balanced. You're going to have some weight out in the barrel, but it's not going to be like the Velo where it's super light and easy to swing. The Velo, again, has the composite end cap, which takes all that weight out in the end, makes it lighter swing weight, whereas the 5150 doesn't have that. So it's going to be a true balanced bat.
Okay, gotcha. And I mean, all these different bats, there's got to be a huge design team that's going. How many guys work on a single bat and trying to get this thing produced and ready to go?
So there's a huge team, right? I mean, we have 7 bat engineers, but then within that engineers, we also have our tech guys who are obviously taking these bats and running our testing out in O'Fallon, Missouri, is where our testing facility is. It'd be cool to actually go out there and get a shot
because do another episode.
Absolutely, because there's a ton of equipment, some things that you didn't know existed, but it's a full team effort from an engineering standpoint to get these bats to the finish line. You're talking about bringing in test samples, prototypes, getting those bats, and testing them initially from a performance standpoint to then a durability standpoint.
Okay.
We do handle durability, we do end cap durability. We go to grip durability. I mean, everything on this bat is tested, and we have a team behind that.
And then who demos it? So like you have the finished product. Obviously, all the testing goes through. Then now, who are the first people to grab this bat and start swinging it and giving you honest feedback?
So honestly, players within your organization have tested a lot of our bats. I mean, we've done a lot of field testing with the Rawlings Tigers. We've done with other local groups, but then also we have our advisory schools, right? We have our University of Virginia, and we send them bats, and they're painted all black, and so we will take those bats and get feedback, get as many hits as possible.
So this is painted black.
Yep.
All of them are painted black.
All of them were painted black before even the cosmetics are even created, and that's a whole different group. As we have a graphics
because you want an honest feedback. You don't want it to be like, wow, this bat's cool because it's yellow.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you'll see. There'll be people that we bias based off of the color of the bat or the design, and so we want a true, honest opinion. But then also we do a lot of work of bringing in competitor bats, and we paint those all black, so you don't know whether you're
Swinging
hitting
a Rawlings or swinging. Yeah, exactly. And then when do you first introduce it to the market? Like when you first introduced this bat, is it in the College World Series or is it?
Yep.
Oh, it is.
So we typically like to get our advisory schools, our top schools, bats towards the tail end of the year, so that way they can start to use them. So in hopes of College World Series time, when there's all sorts of TV exposure, you see the players using these bats, and then in turn they launch a couple months later for everyone else to obviously get a chance to swing them.
Now, when you have pro guys come into town and you take them a tour and all of that, do you ever have them swing the metal bat just to see what it does?
You know what? We haven't lately. I haven't been a part of that, but it's always interesting getting the feedback from players, and certainly the conversation always goes to wood because that's what they're using.
Yeah, exactly.
But certainly you always ask the question of if you were using an aluminum bat, how far could you hit a ball?
It'd be kind of cool just to take them out to a major league stadium and seeing how far the actual ball can just shoot off.
Yeah.
See if they can hit it out of the stadium or whatever. So right now we're in BBCORE land. Before that we were in BSE or Beezer bats. So what's the difference between the BBCORE and the Beezer bat?
So Beezer really was 5 years ago when that standard, and really it came down to barrel performance. Right, we had the College World Series 5-7 years ago, and it was games 23 to 21, and I mean you're lucky if the third baseman had a head at the end of the game.
Well, that old Fresno State game where it was Detweiler hit like 3 home runs in one game, and the score was like you said, it was like 21-20.
So safety it was certainly a big part of the decision. And not only was the game getting ridiculous and that pitchers didn't have a chance, but balls were just flying through the infield so fast it became really a safety concern. And so they really lowered the performance level of the standard, and that's what the BBCORE introduction was. And so it does perform more wood-like.
Yeah.
Now you are going to have lighter swing weights than wood, but it's going to perform more like a wood bat.
And how did you guys stay ahead of the curve? Is it just like it's just trying to, you're like, oh no, they're going to change. We got to test all this stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, it's the associations, in this case NCAA, came forward with what that testing protocol was going to look like. We work back and forth to say, hey, this doesn't make sense. We need to go back and look at this testing protocol. We need to shore that up, and ultimately we land on a standard. And from there, then we start developing around the standard and to the standard.
Yeah.
We come up with ways like utilizing an inner barrel on the Quatro that we can get a better flex for that younger player with this design while still meeting the BBCORE standard. So there's different things you can do to certainly enhance your product, even though there is a governor on the limit of batted ball speed.
Now, every guy that plays baseball, they're always thinking, I'm going to go college, I'm going to go pro, I'm going to be this big time guy, and then something happens, and then you end up choosing a different career, going down a different path. How did you get to Rawlings, and what was the path that you took going from Kansas to here?
Yeah, so actually I went from Kansas, and I was drafted by the Texas Rangers, and I played with them for 2 years in the minor league system, and I ended up being released. And honestly, I only grew up believing I was going to be a big league player, right?
Right?
So it certainly was a troubling time just to think, okay, well, what's next? But ultimately, I've landed in St. Louis and found out that actually Rawlings was in St. Louis, and literally I took a customer service position and was there for 6 months, got moved into product development, and have been there ever since. And so it really sort of happened by chance more so, but certainly putting in the work and getting better and understanding the game opens opportunities, for you, whether it's in baseball and in this profession or in any other profession. Baseball is a good segue into your next career.
Yeah. Kyle, thanks again. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Guys, I'll put all the links, Facebook page, website, all of that. If you have any questions, shoot us an email. And if you have any questions on bats, same thing. Shoot me an email, and we'll get you taken care of. So until next time, talk to you guys soon. See ya.